Let's look at an example of an operation system for a service, and we're going to use a hospital. In this case, we're going to watch the TV show Hospital Emergency, which is set in the Alfred Hospital in Melbourne, but it could be any hospital. And basically, the inputs are going to be, there's going to be some that are similar to a good, but many that are very, very different. So the component parts, there are component parts with a service. So we saw the medicines, the hospital doesn't make those, they buy them. The beds, the patient food, the medical supplies, the bandages, the stationery for the office staff, they're all things that are bought as a component from another business. We also have the utilities, so it's a commonality between every business. Every business, no matter what they produce, needs electricity and water, etc. But the big one here, when you watch these emergency room shows, is the labour. That is the most important resource. You're relying on the nurses, doctors, and admin staff to provide a high level of knowledge and skill. Even the best machines in the world are useless in a hospital unless the staff providing the service have the knowledge and skill to diagnose and treat the patient. We also did see, though, a lot of capital money and resources as well, basically in the form of not only the wages of the employees, but it's hospitals obviously in a large building, but there's hundreds of millions of dollars of fancy medical equipment as well. The transformation, this is very, very difficult for a service because every service is different. So just to find some commonalities, I guess we could say for a service in a hospital, in an emergency room, for example, there's the bringing in of the patient to the hospital in an ambulance, or in the TV show, we see them brought in helicopters. The patient is then admitted to the emergency department. Even if it's a critical situation, there's still someone logging and entering that patient's details into the computer. We then see the main bit of the show, which is the diagnosing of the patient and assessment by doctors, nurses, radiologists, pathologists, surgeons, etc., using their specialist medical skill and also all that equipment. We have the treating of the patient, so that's where medicines are dispensed, surgeries performed, equipment's utilised. And then we have the treatment of the patient after surgery, so they're not, as soon as the surgery is over, sent home. They have to stay in a hospital ward to recover, receive further treatment, food and medicine, and then finally the patient is discharged. So the output there is a service. It's a final product is the treated patient. We can't say a cured patient in all occasions. A treated patient is the output, which is a service. That is intangible and customized. You can watch it on TV, but you can't really, it's always unique. You can't really see it and touch it. And most importantly, you can't store it in inventory. However, the production and consumption occurs simultaneously. The person receiving the medical treatment, well, that's being produced at the exact same time as they are receiving it. And lastly, it was mainly labor-intensive production. There's a lot of machines, etc., but the main input there was the skill and knowledge of all the doctors, nurses, and admin staff, etc.